Well, it's the end of June here in northern Minnesota, and I'm planting brassicas. Now, you might think to yourself, boy, you're at least a month early to be planting brassicas, but I'm planting 90-day brassicas, not 60-day brassicas, which are the normal types of brassicas we plant as food plotters. So I'm trying these two new forages to me because I like to always be experimenting and see how the deer respond, but I think there could be a lot of potential benefits to these 90-day brassicas. So let me show you what I'm planting today. Alright, so here's the first one I'm mixing in. It's the Grow Forage Brassica blend. So I shouldn't have said there was only 2 brassicas. There's actually 3 here, and then I'm adding one other one. So you can see there's 3 different types of brassicas mixed in here. These are 80 to 100 day brassicas. And I've seen pictures of these brassicas. When they reach full maturity, they can be up to 5 feet tall. It's crazy. So this is from Grandpa Ray Outdoors out of Wisconsin. John O'Brien, good guy, knows food plots inside and out. I've always liked his products. All right, here's the other one. I'm just doing rutabagas. Now I got these from Deer Creek Seed. I can't remember where they're out of. They might be Wisconsin too. But I wanted to throw the rutabagas in too because they are another 90-day brassica, and they'll actually have a bulb to them. So when I'm putting this down, I wanted to have something that the deer could paw at and dig and eat late. Now I know those forage brassicas are going to put on a ton of tonnage, so that is one of the huge benefits to doing a forage brassica like this, especially with 30 extra days to grow. I expect these to be pretty high tonnage food plots, but I like the idea of there being a bulb in here, so that's why I mixed in the rutabagas. Now again, I am not affiliated with any food plot company or anything like that. These are just 2 seeds that I've been wanting to try. I've bought from both these companies before. It's been good seeds, so I'm gonna throw it down and we'll give it a whirl. So we actually tilled this probably a month and a half ago and I sprayed it, and the ground is so soft, it's a little, that I decided we didn't need to till again. We just broadcast and pack right onto this. I mean, and this is doing a great job, the packer is. You can see what it looked like before. That's what it looks like now. I came about 3 weeks ago. I sprayed this back, so we should have a very, very clean food plot if we don't have to break that soil again. And it's looking good where we're doing the packing. It'd be ideal if we can get a nice light rain to get the seed germinated. Gully washer is not what we want, but looks pretty good. All right, so this is about a month post planting, and they are, brassicas are looking very good. End of July here. They've had rain, and they are definitely looking beautiful. A little bit of pigweed in here, but we always get pigweed when we break the soil, which we did initially. But I can say so far so good. Very pleased with how these 80 to 100 day brassicas are looking. It's nice to get some food for the deer a little bit earlier too than the typical 45 to 60 day brassicas we'd plant for fall plots. Alright, so here's the August 2nd update for these 80 to 100 day brassicas. I mean, they look fantastic. Population might be a little heavy. I thought I went light. I spread them out probably a 7 to 8 pounds per acre, I thought, but still looks pretty heavy. But we've had the rain. We've hammered them with some triple 19 at about the I don't know, probably the 25-day mark right before rain. That really helped, and the color's still good on them, so maybe I'll be all right. But boy, do they look fantastic. The only thing in this plot is some pigweed, which whatever, it's for the deer. Sometimes you got to tolerate a few weeds. You can see the pigweed, but the deer are definitely on them. So we're at the, yeah, like I said, I think this is around the 40-day mark. I can't remember exactly when I planted them. It was late June. But I got a camera up over there, and I'm getting a ton of pictures and deer activity actually all day long on this plot. So if anything, you know, the test with this one is to see if they will eat them at full maturity. Deer always love these young palatable plants. If anything, I know that I can do these in my normal fall blend and the deer will hit them, but we'll see I want to see if I can get these to maximum tonnage, and these would be a really good option for kind of those higher deer density areas, or areas where we're trying to get some late winter food, or some food I should say, going into the winter with maximum tonnage to feed the deer in those high stress months. So that's kind of the goal, to see if they are on this stuff when it's at full maturity. But at 40 days they are definitely hitting it. It looks, I mean, look at that stuff, that just looks fantastic. Alright, so this is 50 days post planting. Still looking really good. Like I said, the population was a little bit heavier than I was hoping. You can see a little discoloration underneath, but deer are absolutely smashing this stuff still. You can see the browse is very heavy throughout the plot. So they're in this, I mean, boom, boom. So very heavy browse yet. Knowing that they hit it this hard, I mean, I've really seen the browse ramp up in the last 2 weeks on these. So knowing that they're hitting them this hard at about that 50-day mark, I know that if I mix these into my normal fall blends, that they would do really well. You know, if I time it 60 days before opener, these would do very, very well. Actually, about 45 days before opener, because our frost normally comes about 2 weeks after opener, around October 1st. That first week in October is kind of what we typically get for our first frost in Minnesota. So if I put them in, yeah, right around that August 1st date, I definitely think they get crushed. But I want to know how they'll do at full maturity, so that's why I planted them earlier, to give them their best chance at full maturity. But still looking really good. I know John O'Brien talks about needing to add sulfur and boron to your brassica blends. That's one thing we don't often do. So that could be part of the issue here with a little bit of the discoloration. I did not do that, but he says when you're on a dry program, to use sulfur and boron in with your normal, like 1919 that you would maybe use for brassicas. So something I need to consider, but also it just could be just too heavy of a population, because you can see where it's planted a little bit thinner, like it should be. They got good green color to them yet, and they still got good color throughout the rest of the plot. So either way, looking good at that 50-day mark outside of the pigweed that's on that side of the plot, but they still look good even underneath the pigweed. So good to see. Yeah, I just got to show this. I mean, they're just mowed off hard. They're in here big time right now. And look at this. This is I did 3 food plots in these. This is one that's down by the swamp on ours. It's nothing but sticks left. This is insane. I've never seen this type of forage on brassicas. I normally hunt this food plot late because it's still green and there's still food, but they just annihilated it. But lesson learned, I didn't do the whole food plot in this. I still got I got beans, I got some clover over there, so there's still food to hunt down here. But I definitely learned my lesson. If I want to do these, I need to put the whole food plot in them, because they smashed them. This is early October. I'm gonna say this stuff is getting shredded. We haven't had rain for 2 months. I mean, it looks a little stressed. You can see some of the different color in it. But the deer are hammering. This is the plot that still has food in it. I got 2 others with these brassicas, and there's nothing left. It is just sticks. You can see, I mean, it was heavy. So this it still looks good. You can see the pigweed, once we dried up, just exploded. I mean, I got great green forage yet, but the pigweed is in here. It really took off once the rain shut off. But I mean, all of it's browsed. It is getting hit very, very hard. No rain for 2 months. At least it's still green. My other brassicas are crispy. The ones that aren't the 80 to 100 day ones. But that was the nice thing about planting this stuff this year early, because we had so much rain early that they got a great jump start. But deer are hammering them. I'll come back in here one more time and we'll see what it looks like when the after the snow flies. Man, look at that. This was full, lush, beautiful, and there's nothing left. We have seriously never had browse pressure like this. I mean, all these brassicas just, there's not a leaf to be found. They ate every single leaf off of these. You can see some of the rutabagas. It does not look like they're getting browse super heavy, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. Oh, there's one that's got a little browse on it. But wow, they crushed them. All right, so it is mid-December now. Well, still early December. This was the last plot standing as far as these forage brassicas goes, because the other two plots I had of them just got absolutely crushed. Now this one did have some green yet early November, but because we had maybe 2/10 of rain from mid-August to mid-November, they just couldn't, I think they just couldn't withstand the browse pressure. And when they would sprout back like they were supposed to, the deer kept smashing these brassicas back, and eventually we just got to a point in all three of the plots where they were just sticks. So they look great up till mid-August, and these are actually really drought tolerant plants, so they held their green well. But the problem was, without the rain, eventually I just don't think there was moisture in the soil anymore to keep kicking out that new growth, and the deer browsed them back to a point where there was just nothing left. One cool thing I noticed when I was walking through one of these plots and during the rifle season, so mid-November, the ends, we had just finally got rain, and the ends of these actually were sprouting back. So these look dead, but they weren't dead, and the ends were actually sprouting back because the ground apparently wasn't froze that much yet, and they started to come back. So that was really cool. So that makes me think that if we would have had a normal year with normal moisture, the deer would have been browsing these back, and they would have just kept resprouting, and they would have been able to handle that browse pressure better than they did this year, because we just did not get any rain on them. But again, I just have never ever seen the type of browse pressure on a brassica planting that I've seen on this one. I mean, it was insane. So definitely something I'm going to plant again. I'm going to do more of them. You know, these plots that I did, minus you can see the pigweed. I mean, they look great underneath the pigweed. These plots I did were probably a half acre. Well, this one's about a half acre. The other two, one plot was probably a third of an acre, and the other was probably about a third. So next year when I plant these, I'm definitely going to try go a little bit bigger with the plots, and then hope we have rain, because I think if we have rain in the fall, I think they're going to be just fine. I've never had overbrowse issues in any of my plots before, because we have tons of food on the farm, and we build up the woody cover with tons of food in the woody cover. So I haven't had to worry about overbrowse, but something about these brassicas must have been very attractive, and they smashed them. So I want to keep planting these. I just need to I need to just plant more of them, and then hope we just have a normal fall with moisture. So the rutabagas that I added in, I didn't see a ton of browse on them. I'm seeing them now. I would think now they'd be getting hit, and I don't see, I mean, I saw a few with browse, but most of these in here are still good. So I don't know if I'll mix rutabagas in again next year. Maybe I'll throw a few sugar beets in there, because they're another long day brassica. I want to have a bulb plant in there for this time of year, but I want it to be one that the deer like. So we'll see what I decide to do. Maybe I'll do a few sugar beets and a little bit of rutabaga too. But for the most part, I'll go heaviest on the forage brassica, because clearly, I mean, I can't find a leaf out here. Clearly that's what the deer want. So all in all, I was extremely impressed with these forage brassicas. I'm definitely doing them again. I love the fact I could be almost done, entirely done with my plots by the end of June. That was really nice, so I could focus on other projects in August and not be banking on rain. Because this year, if I wouldn't have had these, I would have literally had nothing, because the rain shut off mid-August, and most of my clients that were just relying on fall plots really struggled this year because there was no moisture. So it was nice to be able to plant these in June, catch some of those earlier rains, and then they look great going into the fall. I think on a normal year they'd be doing just fine, because we'd be able to catch a few fall rains and keep that growth going. But all in all, very impressed. I couldn't believe just how much the deer hammered these things. So I'll be planting them again next year for sure. So anyway, I hope you all take care. God bless.